Hi everybody, and welcome to a 25-ish minute gentle yoga. This is my son Dalen, and he's going to practice a little bit with us today as well. And he's also going to show off his hot new Lego project for all of us. So I hope that you can join me, and I want you to know that this practice today is going to be great for everybody. It's a great way to move your body, to draw yourself inward, to ground, to calm down, and to take some really deep breaths. And I love that we can do this all together, so I hope that you can join me. This practice will also be good for prenatal and a beginner yogi that maybe is a little bit curious about trying a little bit of yoga, but a little hesitant to come to a class. So join me now. You will need a few props together. Some blocks will be handy. So these are styrofoam yoga blocks, but you can also use books or wooden blocks or anything that feels like it would be a little bit stable for you to hold on to or to sit on. Grab as well a couple or at least one of folded blankets to support your knees and to support your seat. Grab yourself a bolster or a blanket that you can roll up sort of in an oblong shape to lie over or to place underneath your knees. And now we will begin. So I'm seated here on my knees, and if that's comfortable for you, you can sit back on your knees as well. Another option can be to take a blanket rolled up or a bolster and put it underneath the backs of your thighs and sit back on it. We'll be here for about a minute. You can also sit down on your seat, on a pillow or a blanket if your knees are sore this way. Let's take our hands into our laps now, and we're going to simply lift the shoulders up and then draw them down the back. And I want you to take a deep breath in with me, and then let it all go out. And take another deep breath in as the shoulders come up. And then as the shoulders move down the back, let your breath out all the way. And 3 more times. Feeling the spine really rise up here and lengthen, and feeling the way you can settle down as the shoulders move down the back and you exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in deeply, and then breathe it out. Very good. Let's take our chin down. Like we're tracing the chin across the collarbones from one shoulder to the next. And then bring your chin all the way up and overhead. Nice and slow here. Meeting that first shoulder and sweeping the chin across collarbones. Bringing it up and around. And all the way across collarbones. And then as you reach that second shoulder, go the other direction. Simply invite space and softness into your neck. Let your shoulders stay down the back. And we can move so slowly that we can feel each degree of movement. We can feel the places where our neck needs us to take just a little bit of extra care, just a little bit of extra awareness. And then the next time the chin comes down toward the throat, go ahead and bring the chin back up and draw the ears over the shoulders. Now come forward onto your hands and knees and walk your knees a little bit wider apart. And this can be a great place for your blanket now as you open it to support the knees if they tend to be a little bit more tender for you. Press your hips back toward your heels again and let your heart come down toward the ground between your thighs. You can reach for a block or a pillow to rest your forehead on. And then to rock your forehead across this surface. And the hips are simply settling toward the heels. And if it feels to you like your hips are a bit tight and they're a bit higher over top of your knees, that's okay too. Notice where your body likes to settle into child's pose. And we're going to take about 5 breaths here. Feeling the body start to soften. ground is supporting you. How you're pressing your hands, your forearms, your shins and the tops of your feet to earth to receive that calm, supportive energy. Breathe in deeply and feel the back ribs expand and fill through the back lungs. And then breathe all the way out. And take 2 more breaths now that you can hear in your body. And then start to press your hands into earth and push yourself all the way back up to all fours, walking your knees underneath your hips and walking your wrists back underneath your shoulders. And then we start this side to side movement. So bringing some lateral movement into our bodies here, feeling the hips draw over to one side and then back and over to the other side. Just like you're wagging your tail here, kind of swishing the pelvis side to side, creating some space through the lower back, creating some space through the outer hips. And then we'll start to make these side to side movements a little bit more circular. So coming forward into the hands, pushing back toward one knee and then coasting across to the other and continuing. Let this movement be expansive for you. Let it be creative and organic in your body. So what feels good here? Open up your side ribs. As you come forward, shift and draw the pelvis down toward the floor and then off to one side. And then the next time your hips come back toward your heels, switch up your directions, coming forward and around and to the side and back, with this intention of keeping the back long, the spine lengthened, with keeping some ease in the body. Or perhaps inviting ease into the body where there is tension. Nice. And now come all the way back to all fours. Check in that your knees are right underneath your hips and that your wrists are coming right underneath your shoulders. Start to extend your right leg back behind you. Tuck the toes under, stretch the bottom of this foot. Stretch the heel, stretch out through the calf, and now reach the crown of your head forward. We're going to start to lift the lower belly up toward the spine so the core is firm, and then we can lift this right leg. Keep gazing forward, finding your balance, finding the supports from the core. And then if it feels right in your body today, extend the left arm. So extend the opposite arm forward as your leg. Take a big breath in and reach these opposing limbs apart from each other. A little bit more challenge would be to take this left arm to the left and to take your right leg to the right. And exhale, bring it back to center. And inhale, wave them out wide to their sides. And exhale back to center. Ooh, we'll try for one more time here. Opening it out, focusing on balance and strength and stability through the core. And now bring everything back to the floor and round your spine like a cat. Tuck your chin, draw the pelvis forward. And as you inhale, slide the chest forward, lift the hips, gaze forward. And one more time, round to your cat. And inhale, forward, coming through cow. Now find that nice neutral spine. Again, we're going to do a little bit of a side view here this time. Extend your left leg back now. So we're simply switching sides. Knee under hip. Wrists under shoulders. Picking this leg straight up now so that the toes point down toward earth. lifting up through the lower belly, and finally extending the right arm forward. Keep your gaze and your heart space moving slightly ahead. Take a breath. Lengthen out. Now as you inhale, this right arm moves out to the right, and your left leg moves out to the left. And exhale, come back to center. And inhale, waving them out wide, keeping still and stable through the core. And come back to center. And one more time, moving out, finding just a tiny bit of lateral movement, and then bringing it back to center, bringing it all down to earth. Tuck the toes this time, and round like a cat. And drop the belly. Send the heart and the gaze forward. And exhale. Pull the pelvis forward now as you tuck the chin. And one more time. And exhale. You. Sit back on your heels. Again, this time with toes tucked. So see if that's suitable in your body today. This is a great way to open up and stretch the bottoms of the feet. Extend one arm forward and gently press the knuckles back to counter stretch the wrists from our bird dog and move into your other side. Rotate the wrists a couple of times. And then come forward again into your hands for downward facing dog. This time, spread your fingers out a little bit wider and shift your weight from the bases of your wrists up into the mounds underneath each finger and up into your knuckles and even up into your fingertips. Are you ready to down dog with me? As you exhale now, lift the lower belly, lift the knees just a little bit off the mat. Keep your knees softly bent as you lift your hips high and up and back to down dog. Walk your feet about hips width apart here. And we'll keep the knees nice and soft as we dip them down toward the floor and then lift the hips high to the sky. And the knees dip down toward the floor. And the hips lift high to the sky. And one more time, the knees dip down. And then the hips lift high. And we'll start to pedal out the heels now, pressing one heel down at a time. Looking back through the knees, give your head a little shake or a nod. Let your neck soften. You can always return to child's pose when this deeply strengthening pose becomes intense for you. Otherwise, join me for 3 more breaths here. Perhaps we're wagging our tail side to side, lengthening out the side bodies. Or maybe stillness and down dog is what is best for you. Wherever you are, move your chest back towards your thighs. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. And let your breath out all the way. And now inhale, look forward. Shift forward plank. And exhale, down dog. And inhale, pour yourself forward plank. Shoulders come over the wrists. And exhale all the way down dog. And one more time. And then down dog makes its way to child's pose. And we rest. Soak in this inversion from downward facing dog. The way that the hips were over the heart and the head. The way the blood rushes into the face and the head. Take one more breath. And then begin to make your way back up to all fours. And let's just move the blanket out for now. Have it handy beside you in case you need it for the future. Make your way back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's walk the dog, bringing your feet up to land under your hips. Bending your knees a lot, sliding your hands back towards your feet, and finally letting the head drop between the knees. Make sure that your feet are an appropriate distance for you. So the feet might like to be totally together. Or maybe for your body shape, it would be nicer to create some space between your thighs, for your belly, your ribs.
Take another breath here and forward bend. And relax. Now inhale, start to straighten your legs. Lift your back until it gets nice and flat. Come to half lift. And as you exhale, bend your knees and fold over your thighs. And inhale, straighten the legs a little. Offer the heart and the gaze forward, flat in the back. And exhale, fold it down. One more time. Inhaling, half lift. And exhale, fold. Walking on your fingertips and your feet up to the top of your mat. Maybe now's the time to grab your blocks as well. We're going to step the right foot back to low lunge. So creating a big wide step from front foot to back and then shifting forward into it, shifting back from it, finding spaciousness. And then when it feels right for you, take your back knee to the floor. Take the top of that foot down as well. Set your block down and place your right hand on that block. And as you breathe in, bring your left arm all the way out to the side and up. Just feel this expansion as you turn. Bring the arm down behind you. And as you breathe in, watch it come forward and up. And as you exhale, watch it circle back and around. And one more time. And exhale, release your hand to its block, to the floor, and step back to down dog. Walk your dog, stepping up with your feet until the feet are under the hips, inhaling that half lift, hands to shins. The back feels flat. Exhale, bend your knees and fold on down. Inhale your half lift one more time. And then exhale, walking to the top of your mat if you're not there. We'll now step the left foot back and find that big wide stance here. So the front knee starts to bend forward. The back heel starts to press back. Check in that your front ankle is right underneath your top knee. Shifting forward and back. And then finally, when you start to feel some spaciousness from this stance, take the back knee to the floor, the top of the back foot as well. Flatten the left palm down into the floor, the block, reach your right arm up to the sky, and circle that arm. Inhaling it forward, exhaling back and around. Reaching up, watching with your gaze, and then releasing. This time we will pick up the back knee, lift the hips high, and step forward to the top of our mat. Returning to forward bend, bring your hands to your shins, find that half lift, flat back, and now fold. Take another breath in here, feeling the backs of your legs stretching. And then bend your knees and start to curl yourself up one vertebrae at a time. So come up really slowly, really exaggerate, unfolding yourself, bringing yourself to stand fully in the power of your feet. Bring the arms up and overhead for an upward salute. Take a breath in and offer the pelvis forward as you look up. A little bit of a back bend, opening the front body, and then exhale, hands to heart. Inhale at the midline, come all the way up here, interlace all your fingers except for the index. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Circle your fingers all the way out to one side, and as you inhale, come up the other side, straightening the legs. Moving around the world in the opposite direction, coming all the way up. I love this pose or this flow to celebrate our collective activity at this time. How we, across the planet, are all doing something really similar. We're all staying home, we're all sacrificing our time and our schooling and our work to try and keep people healthy, to try and keep ourselves healthy and to try to support the medical system that's out there fighting to end this pandemic. This is a beautiful, soothing movement in the body because it's circular. It's like rocking yourself into ease. Bending the knees deeply, finding a stretch to the sides. And let's go one more time, both directions. Come all the way up. Look up again, separate the hands. And exhale, draw the breath around. Take your hands to your heart now for tree pose. So a bit of a balancing pose. So press your weight into your right foot. Turn your left toes out. Snuggle that left heel into the right ankle and push the heel into the ankle. Push the ankle back into the heel. This is a bit of a modified version. You can pick up the toes and start to feel your balance. Root down through the standing foot. So imagine you're growing roots out of the bottom of this right foot. Press down to rise up through the spine. Perhaps slide the foot up into the inner calf. Open the knee a bit wider. Pressing in. Finding stability. Listen to your breath here. Let yourself weeble and wobble if you need to a little. We're constantly coming in and out of balance in our life. Bring this knee back to center now and extend the leg forward. Take a breath in and let it go. Let's shift. Let's do the other side. Press your weight into your left foot. Grow the roots out of the bottom of this foot, which will fasten you down to earth. Turn the right knee out. Perhaps lift the toes. So in this kickstand here, if you feel stability moving away from you, you can always touch down with that big toe. Otherwise, if you're feeling a little bit more stable here on this side, slide the foot up into the inner calf. Another option in tree pose, which I love, is to grow the branches out. To lift the heart up toward the sun. Maybe even lift the gaze up. Let's take 2 more breaths wherever we're at. And then as you exhale, join the palms down your midline. Bring that right knee forward. Extend and lift the leg up. Pause. Take a breath. And release. Big breath in now. Pull the hips back. Sit down into a chair. Lift the heart. And then keep this chair here. Keep your hips pulling back toward the wall behind you. Keep your knees bending forward. And simply let the upper body start to round over the thighs and fold the end to forward bend. And turn your head side to side. Shake it out a little. Wiggle your hips. Make sure that your blocks are underneath your fingertips if your fingers aren't really grounded into the floor. Take a breath. If this feels really comfortable for you, you might reach up and grasp your opposite elbows with your hands and let yourself dangle. A little bit of ragdoll here. Don't worry if your knees are bent. Our back loves it when we bend our knees. Creates space for the low back, which we need. Now release the hands from the elbows. Lift the lower belly to the spine and roll yourself up, 1 vertebrae at a time again. Turn the palms forward. Lift the heart. Open the front body as the arms travel all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. In reverse now, coming all the way back up. Exhaling that chair pose. So pulling the hips back, bending the knees forward, and just letting this whole upper body round over the thighs. And then inhale back to your half lift. So we're going to, from half lift here, step our left foot back and around to the other side of our right foot. And then just walk your blocks over to the right until you feel like you're centered. I'm just going to try to stay centered. So we've simply crossed our legs at our thighs. Press down through the mound under each one of your toes and press into the back of each heel and allow yourself to fold. It's going to be a little bit intense, a little bit of a nice stretch for the IT bands. You might find your knees are bending quite a bit still, and that's okay. Take a couple of breaths. And then start to come back up. Step your feet back out to neutral. Give them a bit of a shake. Give your hips a bit of a shake. And then step your left foot over your right. So we're switching sides now. You might find a little bit of space between the feet. You might even find a bit of a stance here, stepping your back foot back more and your front foot forward more. So really figure out what your body likes the best here in this type of forward bend. Let the knees be a little soft and fold again. Feel your whole breath move out of your body. And feel the way that you subtly lift up as you breathe in. As your lungs fill, there's this floating sensation. And as you exhale, there's a release, a letting go. One more breath. And let it all go out. Nice. And then come back into neutral stance. Shake out the feet a little bit. Shake out the hips and the legs. And step all the way back to your knees. Sit back into your heels again or sit on your bum. And we're going to do a bit of a breath that is going to bring a lot of calm to our body. So we're going to move into about 5 or 10 minutes of relaxation now. So I'd like to start that with the 4-3-7 breath. So this is inhaling for a count of 4, holding for a count of 3, and exhaling for a count of 7. So will you join me with this one? We're going to just take a nice deep breath in together and let it all out. And then we'll begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do this for 3 more breaths on our own. Back and move now to be seated. Bring your blanket with you so that we can put a fold of our blanket underneath our bum. So just your sitting bones, the bones in your bum that you sit on, up on the blanket, or the bolster, or the pillow. And let's extend our left leg out wide and draw the sole of the right foot into the inner thigh, that left leg. You can reach for your bolster or a block, something that feels a little bit stable to stand up, and start to guide your heart forward, and then rest your forehead on the surface. Alternatively, if you don't have anything to rest your forehead on, you can take your hands wide and simply let yourself fold forward. And at any time that feels available to you, come back to your 4-3-7 breath here over the next few moments. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 2 more breaths like this. as you exhale, start to feel yourself come all the way back up. My cameraman's giving me some excellent signals that it's nearly time to wrap it up. But it's so hard. Gotcha. You can turn toward that extended leg now. So just a gentle turn of the upper body toward the leg, perhaps resting forehead again on the bolster. Filling yourself with the breath here. So feeling it move into the back side, this right waist. Feeling the head heavy and the neck soft and relaxed. And then just drawing the shoulders down the back too. Everything is starting to let go. And then on your next breath in, come up really slowly, taking care of yourself as you move away. And begin to switch sides here. Extending that other leg out. Finding that you're sitting equally across both sitting bones. Coming forward to the forward bend to begin with. Using support from pillows or blocks or simply the floor, start to round forward. Gently press the back of this extended leg into the floor. Let your upper back broaden and lengthen. Even let the chin tuck toward the throat. Two more breaths. And then slowly bring yourself up. No need to rush those nice deep poses. Turn now toward your extended leg. Fold in. You can rest your forehead on your bolster. I like to rest the bolster down the length of the extended leg. Tuck the bolster into the ribs and fold this way. Keep yourself right here by focusing on the way that the breath is moving all the way in, and the way that the exhales extend and lengthen until the breath has moved all the way out. And two more breaths. And now slowly roll it up. Let's start to take now the bolster underneath your legs. So bolster or rolled up blanket is going to come under the legs. And we're going to lie all the way down on our backs. And let's, as we arrive here on our backs, bring our knees into our chest. And just rock it out side to side a couple of times. Just let your whole back feel supported by the floor. Take your knees open wide and then push them down and draw them together and bring them back up the midline. And just taking a few circles this way. Try to relax your hips as much as you can. And let your hands do the work of guiding the knees. And then go in the other direction. Lengthen your inhales. Deepen your exhales. Feel the back of the pelvis resting against the floor. And the way that you can soften your whole body now. And the next time your knees come back toward each other, extend the legs, press the soles of the feet to the sky. Feel these back lines of your legs stretching and lengthening. Flex the feet, spread the toes, and point the toes. And invite some mobility into your ankles, rolling them both directions. And then slowly plug the feet back into the floor. On the other side of your bolster or rolled up blanket. Push into the feet. Now lift the hips to bridge. And draw the bolster or the blanket underneath your hips so that you can rest your pelvis back into the support. Take the feet wide, wider, and shift side to side like your shins are windshield wipers and they're moving side to side together. Perhaps your arms might even stretch overhead. Or they might like to be out wide at your sides. So letting the backs of the shoulders and the shoulder blades really rest down and root down into the floor to become your foundation. Find some stillness. When you notice that your mind is starting to wander away from your practice and from where you are right now, simply return to the breath, staying for an entire in-breath and an entire exhale. 2 more times here, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice. Bring your knees into your chest one more time. And start to just wiggle this bolster out, or your blanket out. Feel your back peel into the mat. And rest your legs over this support now for Shavasana. Shavasana is our final pose that we try to do in each yoga practice. And this is where we integrate the practice into our entire being. This is where we receive and soak in this beautiful, gentle yoga. The breath softens. And the whole body simply relaxes. We move completely away from doing. We mindfully release all of our efforts. And we simply observe as thoughts come, and we observe as thoughts move away. And you can stay here for as long as you like. Moves away from where you are right now. return to your breath. Invite yourself to relax. If you'd like to stay longer, you go right ahead and rest here. Otherwise, join me in some slow awakening. Stretching the body like an arrow. And slowly rolling to one side. And sitting up. Slide your bolster under your legs. Fold forward for one moment. Take a breath into the back body as it expands and fills back up. And then roll up slowly. And press your hands together in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. A gesture of sealing in our practice and our time together. Sealing in our yoga and the benefits. I'm so grateful for you for joining me today. Thank you so much. Namaste.